Alright, this Tucson is a theft recovery, so I'm not going to go over how to do the ignition, anything like that. The ignition's fine. I don't show that because I don't want to give people ideas on how to steal them, so I'm not going to show the ignition stuff just because of that reason. But on here we're going to replace the multi-switch, which is the one that controls your lights and your wipers. So it's kind of cracked and broken, so we're going to replace that. And to start off replacing that, we got to remove the airbag and the steering wheel. Now before you start messing with the airbag, make sure you disconnect the battery, which I already did. So we're good there. You don't want that thing just blowing. I mean, it's not likely, but it could still just blow off and go in your face. Let's see if I can get my camera. So there's a little hole, not this big one, but there's a little one. You see that little hole right there? That is where we're going to stick a little screwdriver. Let me get my mount. So finding it's not always easy. There's one on each side. See that come up some? And we'll try with this because it has like a blunt end. There we go. What we're looking for is these this bar here. We're trying to push those in on each side. Let me get this off. You're gonna want to pull this one. It's just like a ground. And then you got to get these, which have these orange tabs on each side. So you get to zoom in on that. And they're colored, so you're not going to mix them up. So when we're reaching in that hole, we're actually looking for this little bar here, and we're trying to push that in and push it on all of it to release it. So now you get the airbag out, take off this little connector here. Make sure there's a little band that's holding the wires, just kind of holding them in place. Just move it, and we get this bolt off the steering wheel. So I usually like to keep it straight, or you can mark it so you know where it goes back. Then you get your 21 millimeter. Your bolt out. Now we can wiggle it to loosen it up. Comes off just like that. Set it aside. Now this is your clock spring, so if you wanted to replace your clock spring, you can do that. That's a common thing. Just gotta disconnect, and we have to move it anyway to get the multi-switch out. Just going to disconnect it. And this is just clips in. There's no screws for this clock spring. Set my clock spring aside. Now this is what we're replacing. This unit, see, it's damaged here. It still works, but insurance is covering it, so you've got to replace damaged parts. So all we need is our screwdriver, and there's 2 screws here. Get your screwdriver. Put that screw, and then in this hole there's another screw. You don't lose them. And this also has a plug on the back here. This is your multi-switch. See the damage there. This was an attempted theft. They didn't succeed. Otherwise this would be all ripped out. Get our new multi-switch. Go. That. It's like we took the other one out. Put this one in. Get our screws back in. Your clock spring, it's going to snap into place. I plugged it. Yeah, I plugged that in. Make sure you plug the clock spring in. Everything's plugged in. Put the steering wheel back. The wires through the hole here. You either find your mark that you can put on there. This one does have a mark. You can see on the top there it has a little red mark. So get that on there, get our bolt. They're good. Get our airbag. This would be another way if you just want to replace the airbag, but you don't have to go farther than take the steering wheel off. Those wires should be out farther. Are out. Plug this back in back here. Airbag to plug in. Just match it to the color. Pink and purple. Make sure they're all the way. They're just our ground. A little tab right there that goes on. Boom. Now, drop stuff. We had to do undercover here. also because that was damaged. So what they did was, you can see they tore up one of the bolts there and cracked it. We'll get a new one on there. Now, I probably could have put this on before I put the steering wheel on. It would have been easier. But there's two screws that gotta go. One's right here and one's on the other side. On the other side, the same thing. Put the top piece in, and there's one more screw under here, and then you're good to go. Alright, now that it's all back, I got my battery hooked up. You can see wipers are working. Didn't mean to do that. The rear wiper. Everything works. Good to go. If this was helpful, leave a like. If it wasn't helpful, leave a like. And be sure to subscribe.